Hey, what's up, Canada and beyond? Welcome back to episode 2 of Stewards of Truth. So, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit more casual, a little bit more laid back. We've been doing a lot of really heavy work the last little while. So, I kind of was inspired by Chuck Black over at Freedom Forum News to do something to highlight some of the people that are standing up that we don't necessarily get to see every day that are doing their best, from wherever they're at to stand up and protect truth, to fight for truth. So we want to give back tonight. We have got the legendary Impeneterebel all the way from Toronto. And I think I even said that right, Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah. How's it going today? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm looking forward to having you and doing a little bit of off the cuff talking. For those folks that don't really know you, I know you primarily through working behind the scenes with Chuck Black over at Freedom Forum News, where you are a bit of an independent content producer. And you're there every week, and you have some of the most interesting takes on what is going on around us. And I know that you are boots on the ground in downtown Toronto. I'm pretty sure if I go back through some of my footage, I've seen you in there somewhere before. But tell us a little bit about who you are and how literally a former special needs education student assistant turns into the Impeneterebel.
Let's just say it was actually they would try to say from the Bible, it was written. So I didn't know I'd be coming out to being this type of person right now, but you could kind of see from my actions before, where I was speaking out when I did work as a teacher assistant at the School Board of Toronto against the so-called behavioral students. When I found out that really it was targeting a lot of immigrant and also a lot of the Caribbean and African students that were coming in and not really, as you would say, adjusted well to the curriculum that is being presented here in Canada through the educational system. When I found out that really our educational system is really the one that has the flaws, and they should be really adapting to making these kids be learning a lot more, because when you put a kid into a behavioral classroom setting, you're making the student feel less than equal to the other students inside the school board. So I was speaking out against it. They didn't like it, of course. And then there came a situation where with the principal, when I was working at Birchmount Collegiate, I actually lied to her, stating that I was going to be away or sick somewhere. And I was actually taking a whole bunch of underprivileged kids, because I was a rep basketball coach too at the time, and just giving them some exposure and showing them winning formula about life and stuff, and just showing them something different that, nobody else was really doing. So I got fired for that. And it kind of just worked out where now, I just always kept on speaking out about things like that, and kept on doing so, and now I'm impenetrable about it. So let's go.
Well, and that's one of the things that I like about your message is exactly that. And tell us exactly what you mean by that.
Well, when I came up with the name Impenetrable, I was actually kind of referring of what I went through in life, what I just explained with the school board and everything. Also, at another time, I was working for Good Life Fitness as an assistant manager at one of their locations. And I spoke out against racism that's being played inside the workforce and everything there. I got let go from that job, stating as I don't fit the profile. Wow, did I just freeze right there?
Just a little bit, just the camera
though. But just noticing that when I speak out against a lot of things, if I don't fit the quote unquote the morale of what the business is wanting for, then you don't really survive really in the business field again. So I was when I came up with the name Impenetrable, was really I started up doing another business partnership with a friend of mine, trying to get into the THC CBD products and having them inside the dispensaries. And when we were doing like the presentation of like the products being sold to like these dispensaries, of course, we didn't really have like no name or marketing business really behind us doing so. So I created the name Impenetrable based on what I've like went through in life, and thought that it would be a good idea being like a marketing person and the salesperson to those products. So I came up with the name and the logo, literally myself for it, and then tried to, you know, sell the products to the dispensaries. But the business partnership that I had with my guys were like more looking for just quick money and not really long term as I thought of it, of like doing the brand. Because once you set up and then establish yourself as a nice business, you're more looking like, you know, branding your name and everything out there that way. They didn't see it that way, and that's cool. I separated myself from it. And it wasn't until like, you know, a couple of family members and friends were stating like, you know what, I really like your logo. Why don't you try it on some clothing? So, you know, I did it at first, just really t-shirts, black and white at first, you know, Wayne. And it was pretty good, but it wasn't really selling as much as like I'd like to, because during that time, it was before COVID. And, you know, everybody was more into, I just need to get my money. I want to do my money up and all that stuff. So it was more working in ties with another clothing line that I've been working with my friends from California called Get the Dough, GTD. So I was more learning how to do a clothing line already before that, before I came into this one here.
So you kind of what I'm seeing here, or what I'm hearing here, is that you've kind of always been one to speak your mind, to speak the truth as you see it,
Yes.
and to not stand for injustice. Doesn't matter what or who is involved, and that's kind of set you down the path to where you're at now. And now you're kind of more in the line of inspiration and motivation, and using your story as, you know, being impenetrable and holding to the truth. And that's my take.
Yeah, that's what it just breaks down to. It's just a matter of like, you don't want to be oppressed. You don't want to be discriminated against. You don't want to see other people going through that same type of like treatment at all. And it doesn't matter what type of creed that you want to like say that you are, or you want to say that you're from. Nobody out here wants to feel down. Everybody here can be impenetrable, and I want them to independently feel impenetrable before they go out there to like facing the world, of course. Because you have to believe in yourself and know yourself, which I think the second part is more important. Knowing who you are is definitely the most important thing. And then you can actually be impenetrable, of course.
Well, I think most people underestimate the fact that it's in our nature to fear what we don't understand. And if we don't understand ourselves, we're going to spend a lot of time dealing with fear. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate out of what you're doing, and you're doing it from cause and purpose. And that to me is always, it doesn't matter about money. It's always been about cause and purpose. We get what we need and at the end of the day, but cause and purpose and community are the things that make the world go around. So thanks for doing what you do and standing up in a unique way. And this is kind of why one of the things that I wanted to bring you on to this show here in this series is that you walk your talk. And it's I didn't really know a lot about you, but after a couple of months of hanging out with you with our weekly editorial meetings, you continue to inspire me in the way you deal with things in a fearless fashion. And
I kind of like to call it a peaceful ignorance. That's what I love to call it, right? As they say, ignorance is bliss, but you can't be totally ignorant. You got to just be, truthful about it, but be peaceful about it. You're not here to try to ruffle feathers. You're not here to be, as I say, like flamboyant about it and like really throw it in people's face. But I am putting it in your face, but I'm doing it peacefully where it's like, all right, I can't really get mad at him doing that, right? That's how I've been really trying to approaching it.
Well, that was what brought up one of the things that I hope you do a story on coming up real soon. Was we were talking about arrests in downtown Toronto. You piped up and you totally stole the meeting for a few minutes because you were so genuinely offended that everybody around you was getting arrested, and you believed primarily that they were being arrested because they were white. So
Yeah.
tell us about that, right? I mean, this to hear you, where we're constantly being bombarded with this talk about racism, and the real world is not as the media portrays it.
Of course. Like, we're here in Canada, and we're like totally world known to everybody as multicultural. You come into Toronto, and we got, like, our sections of like every culture that you can think of, from Greek to Italian to Asians to the Caribbean, of each descent, of Trinidad, Jamaican, it doesn't even matter, to even African descent. We celebrate like almost everybody's of like, humankind culture that's all around. So for the media to portray that literally the only people out there at these so-called, anti-maskers, when they're literally like trying to like stand up for peace and freedom and against the oppression. And that's the reason why they make it look like anti-maskers, so that the actual point of proof that we're actually out there fighting for never really gets talked about. Right. And that's something that I've noticed from time, even growing up, where, I learned from like, Malcolm X, and also from Martin Luther King, that the media is always going to be twisting what's really been happening with the people out there from time. I even had an uncle who tried to run for mayor out here in the Brampton area a few years ago in 2010, independently, and saw like how the police, the media, and all the political parties scandaled him just so that he wouldn't like win the seat of being the mayor, because he actually had the people behind him. So these are things that I'm not like, it's not like it's new to me being exposed and seeing these type of stuff, Wayne. So I just try to make sure that everybody else sees it and still doesn't forget the history lessons that were taught to us from before, and just being aware about it.
Well, and that was my point, was that you were being very outspoken about it, because you've seen what the media portrays, and what you're seeing is exactly the opposite. And that's what you were calling out, that really struck me. In you, they're obviously, we see in the media that they're portraying these as not just anti-maskers, but these white national events, and we're all of this kind of junk. But what offended you was that you were standing beside a whole bunch of your brothers and sisters fighting for the same thing, and they come in there and they completely ignored you because of the optics of it, and arrested a bunch of the white people around you. So I mean, we have to be able to have these kinds of conversations, or these kinds of things are just going to get worse.
Well, it's just going to get played that way, and that's how they want it to be done. Like, literally, I'm out there at, like, I was literally out there at a lot of the marches, like almost every Saturday religiously. And just to show
your stuff all the time, right? I know you're out there.
Even from like being interviewed with Rebel News, being there with like Druthers, you know what I mean? But still, the giant media does not want to portray seeing me out there and speaking up against it. They rather just keep on having, like Chris Sky, and of course, Kelly and Vlad and whoever else is out there. But if I speak, or whatever time I'm speaking, it's totally like not being shown whatsoever. Whatever demonstrations that I'm doing, it's not being told whatsoever, because they just want to keep the narrative as that. So I'm just going to keep on pushing it then, literally in their face, as I said, peacefully ignorant. So here we go. And that's how I'm going to show I'm impenetrable about it. So let's go, bro. Let's go. Let's play. Let's tango.
So how long have you been boots on the ground doing this kind of stuff down there? And what's your biggest takeaway over since you've started doing all of this?
I would say I've been like a rebellious person, literally for truth, and like just for justice for everybody, literally for as long as I really could know, because like I was raised by like my dad and my mom to like not stand up for any type of like bullshit that comes your way, not from police, not from like your jobs that you have, just even from them too, like just even standing up to your parents saying like, why are you telling me this, and why should I follow this? Like, what's the philosophy behind this? What's your reasoning behind this? Like, so I'm really glad that I actually had like parents who wanted me to be like critical thinkers, and even around my own brothers and sisters, And even one of my great uncles too out in Scarborough, he really makes you like think about the words that you're putting out there to people. So you better be careful. And that's where like I've been smart about like everything I've been doing, literally.
Well, so what's the next big thing that you're looking forward to this year? What do you see happening that really uh, keeps you fired up?
What gets me fired up is just seeing a lot more of like parents and kids just, you know, living life. You know what I mean? Like I try to like show people like our government or whatever you want to say took anything away from us or our freedoms or whatever privileges that has been lost. But they didn't. Like if we just go out there and live our lives peacefully without like, you know, harming or interfering with anybody else, where we're literally governing ourselves, we're literally policing ourselves. And that's one way that I say that we have to be impenetrable is that you learn how to govern yourself, you learn how to police yourself, and then you have a better society all around. Because if you're an intelligent person, you don't need a government, you don't need police, you know how to handle yourself in situations going forward. So that's what it is that I really look forward to is seeing like more and more like, you know, the future of the kids, especially like for my son and also like my nieces, being strong and being like, you know, peaceful about it with one another about like who they are and what their worth is literally in life.
No, and just the basics of self-respect in society and community goes a long way for sure. So it's and leading by example is I think what we need more of, especially in a time of turmoil. So how have you seen things evolving in the last couple of months? Have you seen things changing as things are getting more and more locked down? I mean, you're in the center of the most lockdown.
Well, I think that the lockdown is definitely being exposed where the truth is actually what we've been doing all these months is finally coming out. But the problem is that, of course, like I try to tell everybody, when somebody's in a high position and they made a mistake, they don't want to literally say, I made a mistake, or they don't want to feel guilty about their mistake that they made, right? So they'll play it off as like the United States does, or like a lot of these politicians do, where it's like they'll deflect the responsibility, they'll deflect the accountability that they were at fault for this. I don't want people that are around me to deflect that type of stuff. And what I've noticed in the changes is that I'm seeing more and more people literally in my community taking accountability for what they're doing. They're not just acting like they're morally right now. They're literally getting called out where it's like, you're not about your morals, you're just really about your money. So let's get real about it. Let's like, you know, come on now. Because if your morals were really about that, you wouldn't be saying like, well, I'm just doing my job. You know what I mean? You'd be saying like, no, I need to be doing the right thing. It's not just about my job anymore. It's about like the future of mankind for everybody. Come on now. You know what I mean? And the more and more we get people saying like, well, I just need to do my job, then we're not really going to get out of this. You know what I mean? Then there's really no morale at all. Like there is none. I don't know how you guys sleep at night when you say that. But the change that I've seen has been great because it's been talked about literally like amongst like my friends and everything about like, you know, changes need to be made, stuff needs to go on. And none of us really wanted to be going down there to the marches because I'll tell you straight up, Wayne, the truth is since Martin Luther King, I haven't seen any type of change from a march in legislation with any type of government since then, right? So my actions literally with everybody is just to actually do things that is actually going to force the legislation to making changes by doing it peacefully and ignorantly where it's what the people want. It's not what you guys are trying to tell us. It's what the people need.
Well, I think you touched on a lot of things there and all of that. In the first one that I want to circle back to is responsibility, personal responsibility. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm starting to see and notice too over particularly the last 2 to 3 months is people are doing a little less talking and a little more walking, and they're looking for something to get involved in. And that kind of leads me to the second point about the protests and marches and rallies. As much as they're emotionally connecting, and they're a great place for camaraderie and get your batteries charged up. There's not a lot of remedy in that, since, you know, as you said, Martin Luther King, we're not seeing any remedy from that. So people are starting to look for something else that can have some teeth, can have
Exactly.
some fruit, right?
Yeah, like you're actually getting your feet into the ground and getting something moving, right? It's definitely, I've noticed literally with the marches, it's too much emotionally reactions at the marches, literally. People are so angered. People are so frustrated there at the marches and everything. And yet the title of the marches is supposed to be a peaceful protest. You know what I mean? So like, I get mad where it's like, how come we want this change, but we're getting too much of people where they're emotionally charged and not reacting with logical sense out there. And that's what's so been detrimental to like the marches literally from since Martin Luther King, because everybody's there in marches where you're having somebody yelling at somebody else for what their ideology is. And it's like, bro, you shouldn't be yelling at anybody. All you should be doing is just presenting the facts of the truth and letting them decide for that. Because like, I don't like it being yelled at. That's number one. I know nobody likes being yelled at. You know what I mean? And number two, I'm a father. If I catch anybody yelling at my kid and you didn't bring my kid into this world, trust me, bro, you're asking for it. You know what I mean? Like, so let's just think about it being calm and like smart about like how we want people to like really go about change. And the only way that I've noticed is when I did it literally at like the pop-up clinics, and even the last time I was there at the march, it's just telling people like, listen, if people are going to not listen to you, walk on. You presented the truth, just keep going. You know what I mean? If they don't want to hear you, walk on. You know what I mean? But all you're doing is just peacefully saying, here's some information that I know they're not telling you. You can read it, look it over. But if you still want to do whatever you want to do with your life, that's your choice. But I'll be over here then. If that's what you're going to do, that's opposite of what I would like you to do. You know what I mean? But I can't tell you to do that.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know what you're referring to, and it was a video that one of yours that I saw where you were engaging with somebody that was verbally accosting somebody that was wearing a mask,
Yeah.
and they don't want to believe what we believe, and it's not our place to berate them or treat them in such a way as you described. We don't like being yelled at because we don't want to wear a mask. What makes it okay for us to yell at somebody because they want to wear a mask, right?
You know what I mean? And we don't even know the reason behind the person wearing a mask. We got some people that are wearing a mask because they don't want to lose their job. Like, so you're really yelling at somebody to like take the food off of their table that they need to provide at home. So what job are you going to give them when you're telling them to take off the mask and they lose their job?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at all those type of factors. So that's the problem that I've noticed with a lot of people. We're so emotionally charged, Wayne, that we're not looking at the whole entire big picture for freedom. We're just looking at what the ideology they want for other people to agree with them and follow through with. And I'm not with that at all.
No,
You know what I mean? So I had to weed myself out away from a lot of people who state or claim themselves to being like freedom leaders, and they're only focused on just like certain things. And I'm just like, nah, I'll pass.
You can't force freedom of choice on anybody else. All of a sudden, then you become the hypocrite because you're no longer fighting for your freedom. You're fighting to impose something on somebody else, which is exactly the opposite.
Exactly what this government is doing to us right now. So like,
exactly that video resonated with me because I've seen that happen from coast to coast. I've seen this happen in every city where people are exactly that. They're so emotionally charged that they end up going on the offensive rather than, you know, keeping their being responsible for their words, their actions, and doing it in a way that might promote some conversation or civil discourse, but
at least some debate to understanding what information is needed for you to understand, so you can be the critical thinker and making that right choice for you and yourself and your family. Now, I get it. Not every single choice that people are going to make, I'm going to agree with. Like, I have my own mother. She makes choices I don't agree with, but I live with her. She's still my mother. You know what I mean? And You know what I mean? I let her be to her life that she wants. It's the same thing with friends, same thing with you, Wayne. You know what I mean? We may have some similarities and everything, but we're not going to have everything similar. And we're not going to agree on everything. So
Not
as long as like we can
not
be
until we're full
peaceful
on
about it,
communists anyway.
yeah, as long as we can be peaceful about it, then it's like, yo, what's the problem, yo? Like, really, what is the problem? Come on now. We can all live in this world like together peacefully. And even if I don't like some of the things that you have that you may think that is great for you, I got my home right over here. I don't have to participate with you. You know what I mean? I can go to a next church, or I can go like somewhere else. Like, come on. I don't have to like do it all the time, but I do have to respect what you believe in of an ideology, and you can respect mine, but we don't have to totally agree with it. That's all it is that I try to do with people, literally.
Well, and that's one of the things again. Back to that circle around again of walking the talk. That if you, that even somebody that's on your side, if you don't agree with what they're doing, you're going to tell them that you believe that that this isn't right, and but you don't force anybody. But I mean, we have to lead by example by that, and we can't double standard ourselves because we fall into exactly the trap that they're trying to set.
No, there's a lot of things that I've seen from like people in the movement, people outside of the movement that have done things where I've literally called them aside privately, or I went to them directly and I said, like, look, I can understand part of your reason why you're doing this and all that, but I'm not rolling with that. You know what I mean? And if that's how you're going to be rolling, please don't associate yourself with me if that's the way that you want to go about it. You know what I mean? I can work with you on certain aspects, but I'm not going to work with you completely on everything. And the one thing that I'll definitely work with you is truth. But once you're trying to make it like an ego or something like this and all that stuff, get out of here. I'm not with it. I don't want no spotlight. I never even liked the spotlight. I don't even like this position that I'm in right now. Right? So,
well, we're kind of alike like that because I never thought of it.
I mean, like if we got back our whole entire freedoms, like literally right now, Wayne, I'd be the last person you guys would be seeing right now. Like I'd be off the grid. You know what I mean? Like leave me the hell alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm already like that right now. Like during the week, I don't want nobody to come visit me. I don't even want anybody really to even be calling me. You know what I mean? I'm such an introvert where it's like I don't want to be out here on the forefront doing this, but I'm doing it just because I feel what is right to do. And that's it. You know what I mean? I don't need the spotlight for this. Somebody else can take it. I really don't care.
It's amazing to me. That's one of the most consistent things that I hear from the people that are leading by example out there actually doing it. It's the last place in the world they want to be. I tell my friends all the time, I say, I'm threatening you that the instant we win this, I'm giving you my platform and you have to track me down on a beach somewhere underneath a palm tree because I'm done. I don't want to be doing this. I never looked for this. I
never liked popularity. It was the same thing with me in high school. Like I was a well-known like guy for like playing basketball and being good at it, you know what I mean? And like, I never liked the attention. I never wanted the attention. I was even rude to girls in high school because I was just like, no, I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be known like that. Because the problem is that I've learned from a young stage, really even there too, is that when you become popular, everyone is trying to place this ideology image of you being perfect for them. So they want to now start critiquing you about like, well, no, you should be doing it this way, and no, you should be doing it that way. And I'm going to be telling them, no, I didn't come into this role to become like your role figure or like you're like holy Jesus or whatever you want to like place me up there as. I'm me. I'm not perfect. And I'm just going to try to do what I feel is right for everybody around me. That's it. If you don't like it, do better than what I'm doing publicly. And then we can talk. But until then, I don't want to hear your criticism about, oh, you should be this way, or like you're a role model now. You should be like holding yourself up to a certain. Nah, I'm me. I'm still learning to go through me, even though I'm doing all this stuff right now. And it's like, yo, bug off. You do you. And if you can do it better than me, prove it. Other than that, I don't want to hear it.
I think what you've just described is where reality is a role model that is sorely needed.
Yeah.
It really is. We're putting we put our social value based on to what we see on these electronic boxes, and our communities tend to measure and grade us and score us based on that value that they see in this avatar world instead of how we actually are in reality. So being real is what the role model that people need.
That's what it is. Like, as I told everybody, like, I can be a role model, but I'm not no role model. Like, I'm just real. At the end of the day, that was like even my slogan before I even came with like Impenetrable. Literally as my name, I told everybody, yeah, I'm a role model, but I'm not a role model. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just living my life, trying to do it as peacefully as I can for what I believe is right. And let's go about it, go forward with it. Because I also have a son that's going to be growing up, and I don't want him going through the same type of discrimination, the same type of oppressions that I grew up with. I want him to be in a better world where it's like he's just accepted for who he is as a character, not for just, you know, what he's being presented and shown as. I'm so tired of it. Like, I just don't want that for like the future for any type of child when they're coming into this world.
Well, from my perspective, I think you're doing it right, and that's what's making you a solid part of the new media. I won't call us alternative media anymore. We're the new media. As soon as the bank dries up for the legacy media, it's going to be nothing but people like us that are real and genuine. And this is why we've become these quote unquote role models, because we are simply here and we are simply genuine. And that is all people really want and need out of people that they look up to. Is they don't expect us to be perfect, but they expect us to be real.
Well, they want us to be real and then to have like some type of like solution for what's going on. And I even try to tell everybody, I don't have all the answers for the solutions that's needed. I need to be around other people that want to have to get things done too as well, so I can see what a solution is that works for everybody. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, like, I'm not perfect. Don't put me up on no pedestal about like, oh, you're here for the community and you should be doing this and you should be doing that. No, if that's how you feel about me, then you should be doing that then. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be hearing that about like, well, I should be doing this. That's almost like what the Eminem song is like. You say who I am and all that stuff, and that's who I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, no, that doesn't work with me in my situation. You know what I mean? I've been through so many times where the media and also just people in general want to just place you as some type of category or something like that. And it's like, no, don't try to like place me in no type of category. I'm me, you're you. Just do what you have to do what's right. That's it.
But to me, I take that as a sign of the troubled times that we're in, because I am just the most average guy in the world. But people, they do that. They call me a hero and these kinds of things. And I shake my head and I go, no. If I am what you consider a hero, then that is a true sign that we are really spooked. No offense.
Thank you.
I mean, I am not Superman. We do not live in a Marvel comic book world. And if somebody that is as lowly as a person and average a person as I am is now considered a hero, we are really in the weeds.
We're really in deep trouble. No, we are, Wayne, because like even when I'm doing like you know, when I come out to like the pop-up clinics that's been happening, you know, with like the 12-year-olds, and I was out there doing it peacefully, giving people information, and people were turning back away. You know what I mean? Also, too, with like the Brampton rally that I do every other Sunday out there in Cousy Park, I'm getting people coming up to me and saying like, thank you for being a hero. Thank you for doing this. And I'm looking at them like, you're thanking me for something that's normal? Really?
It's my responsibility. Like, it's my responsibility.
Like, I don't want to be thanked for normal shit. Like, I
appreciate the people that
it's cool, community, but I don't want the praise where it's like, oh my God, he's done something so great and all that. I didn't do nothing except what a normal person should be doing.
Be the change.
Really? Come on now, like there's really else nothing to it.
Yeah, I just want to be what I see it in the world. That's to me my responsibility.
Yeah, like,
what I want.
I love it. I love what I'm doing. It's enjoyable, and the best thing about it, yeah, I get the thank you, but the more important thing is just seeing kids smiling and like living life, like not with a mask on. You know what I mean? This whole thing with the mask, I get it. If you want to wear it, go ahead. But I've never seen anybody getting healthier or better oxygen in their blood and into their bodies by wearing a mask. You know what I mean? And oxygen is the number one thing that our bodies definitely need for it to actually like go to fight any type of like stress or whatever that we're going through. Is literally the oxygen. So I don't understand this where people are wearing masks outdoors, but it's their choice.
Right, so. Yeah, no, I hear you. And to me, this is all about the people. At the end of the day, they're our future, and what we're seeing happening to them while we're embroiled in all of this insanity, they're kind of being lost in the ditches of the chaos, and their voices are being muzzled. They're not being heard, and adults are so busy fighting the fights that are in front of them that I think we're losing too many kids along the way.
Well, that's the whole reason why I've been doing a lot of the rallies and everything. It's literally for the kids and all that stuff. And I'm great with, been blessed to be with like a great group of guys in the freedom movement here in Ontario, where we're now really focusing on just doing a lot of stuff for the kids. So we're going to be working out on like doing like an outdoor prom night for these kids, especially for like, you know, the high school kids, and then also like the elementary school kids from like grade 8. We're going to be doing something where we're all trying to get down to Canada's Wonderland and getting like all of our families and everybody out there and practicing the mask exemption, literally all on that one day. You know what I mean? To show that, you know, people can be out there living their lives and it's not affecting anybody. This COVID thing is a joke. I've been out there literally every day with no mask, going into shops and all that stuff, and I haven't died yet. Nor have I even like gone through any type of like severity of it too as well, because I'm in the gym there at Huff Gym, as everybody knows. I'm working out, I'm keeping myself healthy. And as long as I know that I'm doing that, my immune system is fine to dealing with whatever is going to come and try to actually like stop me. I've always told everybody, no matter what man makes, God has provided a healing nature on this planet for us to get through it. We don't need no medicine. It's never been needed. We came from literally families of farmers where the food was your medicine was your food. So I don't understand why a lot of people are suddenly running to vaccinate all of a sudden. And I've been trying to make people even be aware, like, this is the reason why they've been doing the vaccination stuff, is because I've even noticed, and you've noticed it too, Wayne, was that the CBD was getting so popular. And it was really getting that popular even amongst seniors, that seniors weren't buying pharmaceutical meds off the shelves. They were sitting there.
Yeah.
Literally sitting there. So that's the whole plight of why they're bringing in, like, literally, in my perspective, the vaccination. They want to keep people on medications. They want to keep people, like, you know, so that they can get paid. You know what I mean? And leaving people totally confused about what is really good for their health, when people should already know that right from the start. It's yourself. The way how you eat, the way how you meditate, the way how you handle stress, especially stress that I really try to manage to people. Stress is the number one killer. And people don't really know how to manage their stress. And until they do that, we're still going to be going through a lot of this stuff here right now. But as I was stating, it's just like they've been playing the game where you don't know yourself anymore, but you need to know yourself so that you're actually ahead of the game.
Well, one of the before I decided to do this, I worked in the marketing industry. I had my own agency. I was living in Florida for winters, and I started to see. So this is going back 2015, 2016. I started to see the crackdown coming on social media for home treatment stuff, homeopathy, homemade cures, medicine, treatments, those kinds of things. I really started to see that in 2016, 2017, and I started to go, what is this? Censorship of this? But I mean, I didn't give it a whole lot of thought at the time, because, okay, maybe some of this might not be the healthiest thing in the world, but that has escalated to the point here now where it's they're looking at having us with this continuous regime of top-up vaccinations to top up what the next variant is going to be that's created by the last one, to create this perpetual
Exactly.
cycle of needing jabs because we're not healthy. And when you hear these so-called health officials, I can't call them an expert, but officials coming out and saying that vitamin D is a conspiracy theory. It's like, okay, like come on now. Like,
Yeah, like I've always been questioning it from since day one. Like anything that they do when these big media guys bring out doctors, I'm like, so how come I never see an herbal specialist that's actually on the news and telling you, okay, these are the fruits and juices that you should be taking for yourself to get better? No, everything is straight prescription medications. So I literally had to like examine it, and I'm like, so those are really the drug dealers, but they're legal. So yeah, we don't have doctors anymore. We literally have pharmaceutical drug dealers because they don't know your symptoms until you tell them what's going on. So you're your own doctor, number one. That's what I try to tell people, right? And if you're your own doctor, then you can be able to research and get your own natural juices and everything and actually heal yourself instead of like seeing a so-called doctor. But we're just pharmaceutical drug dealers. That's what they are. Yeah, right. So
I think that's one of the things that we're all seeing here right now, real time, real world, is a separation between real doctors and the syndicate. Yeah, because it's really what it is. It's a dictatorship syndicate that's leveraging a permanent healthcare crisis upon us. Those aren't the real doctors. So as this whole battle evolves, I've learned that I have to kind of be more specific in my language and when I'm dealing with this stuff, because we have to be careful about broad brushing our discussions, and because we end up alienating those that are fighting for us by doing so. And there's one of the things that I'm seeing here now is some of the top doctors and scientists fighting for simple things like vitamins and nutrition.
yeah.
They're not fighting for medicines. They're fighting to step away from medicines. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, wow. Like, I mean, I first of all, I never thought I'd be talking to these people, but to hear them having these discussions saying, no, stay away from this stuff. Go take your vitamins, take these ones, this, and this, and this, and look after yourself.
Yeah. Because I actually have a book that I've had for now, like over, I would say like maybe I'm like 44 now. I've had it now literally for like 20 years of my life. Where is it? This one right here. This book, literally, The Prescription Dietary Wellness, that was done by Phyllis Blatch and James Blatch. And it's literally just everything about like natural juices, foods, and everything for whatever you're going through. You name it. If you need something for like calcium, for like muscle spasms, softening of bone tissue, everything. It will let you know what you need completely on a natural level to like cure yourself. And I've never really needed to go see a doctor unless like I had a broken wrist. Other than that, I don't see a doctor because I have everything right there in that book. So, and even in that book right there, it even stated like since the 1990s, the pharmaceutical industry has been like literally trying to like downplay any type of herbal remedies, herbal medicine, and herbal juices because they're the billion-dollar business, right? So they want to be the end-all game for like people feeling like they're healthy when you're not doing that. So
one of the things that the side benefits of doing all of this work that I've been doing lately is it's really highlighted where the crooks are really at and what they're doing in all of this. So this has been a huge enlightening time for all of Canadians, not just myself, but I'm seeing a lot more people that are saying no, this isn't right. No, wait a minute. I mean, that's not going back to faith or anything else. It's just because the trust has been broken. It's only common sense. Every molecule of me was created and manufactured, and all of the material comes from the planet. It didn't come out of a pill bottle. My mom didn't take any pills that manufactured me. She ate. She, this is how we're born. We are entirely of this earth. And it's not to say that all medicine is bad, but this push towards everything that's going on, I think that's one of the perks and bonuses that are coming out of this, is people are stepping away from that more and more and more and more.
I know that a brother of mine had like he felt like the symptoms before it was actually diagnosed to being like COVID. And literally for my brother, we told him to just like rest up, drink a lot of tea, and also have like a lot of pineapple ginger with some turmeric in it. You know what I mean? While you're going through this respiratory infection that you're going through right now. And my brother got through it. You know what I mean? And that's just off natural remedies and everything. And this is the thing that I've been noticing literally with like, since I've been reading that book, they really don't want anybody going through like being healthy, because then there's really no money in it, right? And population growth, all of that stuff. But it's just been so sad that that's how they really want to portray it, that you're really being healthy and you're not. As like the next thing, like with the lockdown, with a lot of these restaurants and bars and businesses going on, I remember back in the day, and you would probably remember it, when the government was saying like, all right, we're going to stop having smoking being done inside like the bars and restaurants like that. You need to start setting up like a smoking section outside. So who did that money cost to? Of course, you know, the business owners. And who collected that money for them building up all that stuff? The government. And then 9 months later, the government turns around and says, all of you businesses that put up like smoking sections, you need to take them down or you're going to face a fine.
Moving the goalposts. There's nothing our governments do better than moving the goalposts.
Exactly. And it's the same thing they're doing right now. Moving the goalpost every time it gets exposed and every time it's being seen. So it's nothing new to me. You know what I mean? But I can't believe that some people have such short memory to forget about like those type of things, especially as business owners and restaurant owners. You guys should be seeing that and being like, yeah, I should need to open up now. A lot of times they're always saying this is for your benefit of your own good, when really they have a bigger agenda behind it to take more away from you. There's never really a good thing when they say that they're doing a good thing for you.
So the last 10 minutes here. So what is it that you're focusing on these days that you're spending most of your time on? I know that you've been closely following and reporting on the Huff's gym situation out there. That's the one that really got to public eye when the officer lost his job or was suspended for coming and standing up with you guys. You were there.
Yeah, Sergeant Paul Brown. He's my dude now, because I was never a fan of cops. I'll be straight up. Coming from like where I came from, I would never be a fan of a cop whatsoever. But when Sergeant Paul Brown came there to Huff Gym, because I was there at Huff Gym when, you know, they wanted to open up and everything and stay open. And I stayed with her the entire time, Teresa of Huff Gym. She's like my sister. I love her so much now. When Sergeant Paul Brown came, I saw him like literally peeking through the window, and he was talking to an ex-friend of mine named Sean, another brother. And I noticed how like he wasn't coming out of the vehicle and he was having great dialogue with Sean. So I was like, yo, Kelly, go outside and go talk to this officer and see what's up. Right? So Kelly goes out there and goes talks with him with Sean. And it's like, Sergeant Paul Brown literally said like he doesn't want to see businesses being shut down. He would like to see them all open up. And if they all did open up, this whole entire charade of what's going on would be all over. But of course, Sean O'Shea from Global wanted to smear him. And before Sergeant Paul Brown can even get back to his desk, he's finding out that he's being suspended. He's being sent to desk work. But Sergeant Paul Brown already knew this, because when we went outside to go talk to him and see that, I had him on videotape, of course. But I asked him first, like, if I post this, are you okay with this? Because you know this is something with your job, right? And he goes, yeah, I know this. And I could use the vacation. I need to be with my kids. You know what I mean? So I posted it, like, knowing that, you know, because I have to respect somebody, like, you're putting bread on the table for, like, a family and all that. So I didn't want to, like, throw him under the table like that, of course. You know what I mean? At first, but he did it, and he's a great guy. I've now met him like twice. I met his boys as well. Wonderful family that he has there. And my point with him literally is that we finally get dialogue, which they've been portraying in the media, that the police wants to have a great dialogue with the people of like my community and everything. So now we finally get an officer that gives us dialogue, and you go now and suspend him. Like, great work. And the Peel police chief is a brother of my like culture too as well. And he goes and suspends Sergeant Paul Brown. So it's like, didn't you guys just put the whole entire thing that you've been putting forward backwards now? Literally more tenfold, because the one person we finally get that can talk to people in our community, you suspend them. So now we're going to have to deal with some asshole. And we start all this thing over again, where it's like nobody likes police, and police doesn't like dealing with us in our community. See, like, come on now, guys, can we be smart about this?
Well, at the end of the day, a little while later, that's kind of turned into a really good story, an inspirational story, and the gym is open, and you guys inspired a lot of
like, there's no charges whatsoever.
Right.
She's only just been gotten a summons, even though they lie out of their teeth in the big media that they threw the book at her with what, so many fines and whatnot. All we got is a summons. I'll say it again, a summons. So we're still waiting for the disclosure.
And how many other businesses did you guys hear from after that? Right, I bet you heard.
Many businesses have come out and opened. I've also helped out like many like salon businesses as well. A lot of barbershops too as well that have opened up. And it's just a matter of just like, living your life. Like, you didn't open up a business for the government to tell you you can't run or how to live. This is what I'm trying to tell business owners right now. It doesn't matter what business you got. You can have an electronic business store. How is it that the government is telling you to not open up your business? And we're living in a technology age right now. I don't understand that type of thought thinking right now with any of them. Literally.
And that was kind of what I wanted to highlight, is that you've now kind of become this person that's helping businesses overcome the fear, the stigma, and showing them some community support and organizing and rallying around them. Yeah. And so that was what I wanted to make sure that we got a chance to talk about a little bit. I wanted to extend to people that follow you, and if they have concerns or questions or fears about dealing with this kind of stuff, there's a community out there, and you'll help them get connected.
Yeah, completely. Like, I'm with Vlad from like We Are All Essential, and with Samantha. I'm like literally the representative out here in Ontario when Vlad is not around, and I go out of my way literally to get businesses to like open up, showing them the ways to like staying open, being smart about the way how you want to be open. You don't have to be publicly known about it. I understand that. You don't want like the target. So let's just do it where, your clientele comes in, they get the service that they need. Your business will be flourishing. Trust me, I know this already. The amount of businesses that have opened up against like this entire lockdown, they've literally all come and told me like, this has been my best year ever. Ever. You know what I mean? Because they're just getting the support that they never thought at the beginning. So my whole plan is definitely with the We Are Essential team, where we want to see all businesses opening up throughout the week of Canada Day. So literally from like July 28th all the way up to July 4th, we're doing a campaign nationwide. Let's get all these businesses to open up. Doesn't matter what business you are, especially the restaurants and bars, in my perspective, open up.
I think
they're going to just make you have dining at a patio. Come on, you can open up and have dining inside a place. And even if you want people to be wearing a mask, you can still do so, and they can still be separated where nothing's going to be happening to them and getting like affected. I've even looked at some of the results. I don't see people really getting sick from going to a restaurant to eat and catching COVID. Come on now, really?
Well, the statistics do not justify the actions in any stretch of the imagination. And even being the most generous, tolerant data researchers would say this is all bogus. So what you're doing to take the time out of your life to go and help people morally, and spiritually to take that fearful step, because it's tough to when people are trying to comply to save what they've got, to take a risk to save what they've got. They're in an impossible situation, and having a real person to help them and know that there's a community out there to support them means all the difference in the world for those people. So I really want to commend you for doing that, and encourage people that are out there watching. So yeah, I think you meant June 28th to July 4th. You guys are doing
to July 4th. Also, I'm going to be doing back in my own background in like Rexdale and Tanridge on the 26th. I'm going to be doing a rally for the kids out there that are underprivileged. A lot of me with like good of my friends like Body by Chosen. Also with my brothers who run like their own Android TV box business as well. Next friend of mine that's like a rapper and has his own clothing line. So we're literally going to be in Tanridge, Rexdale on the 26th. I know like Tyler and a lot of the other freedom groups are going to be doing another big rally out there in Milton on the 26th as well. I'm going to be redoing my rally out in Brampton on the 27th, the next day. And doing a lot of like the fitness camps, as a lot of people know too, because with this whole entire lockdown, nobody's been able to be like healthy fit. And that really goes against like your mental like health as well. So I've really been trying to promote anything and everything on the well where people can be mentally and spiritually and just literally being healthy as life goes on forward. So that's really that I just want to be doing. I don't really want no big accolade. I don't want to be known as like, well, impenetrable. Right? I just want to be known like, yeah, he's doing his thing. It's all good.
Right. All right, man. Well, it's been a slice. Appreciate you taking the time to come and hanging out with us tonight. I know I did. I only had to pull a couple of teeth to get you on here. So I hope it wasn't.
Yeah, you only have to just ask slightly.
All right, man. Well, you keeping on and keep doing what you do, and keep leading by example and walking the talk and being a steward of truth, man. It's every day we make a little step closer to saving the world and bringing back our humanity.
I do want to thank you for this platform here too, Wayne, because I've also been watching your stuff, of course, like, you know, from behind the scenes and seeing from Freedom Forum and like seeing how great you've done your content. And you're amazing, bro. Like, yeah, I can't even, I even had people when we're doing our meetings together with the Freedom Forum and they're hearing you speak and I have myself on the background with like it all muted and they're like, who is that guy talking right there with such intelligence? And I'm like, yeah, that's my boy Wayne right there. Wayne knows, like, Wayne's done his research, yo. So, like, let's not play games here. Wayne's not going to just say something out of the thing. He wants his research. He wants to know the facts. And then he's going to say how he feels about something. You know what I mean? And that's how it is. And when I met you and we started talking, I was just like, yeah, this is like my kindred brother. So I'm so thankful, Wayne. Thank you so much again. You know what I mean, for everything.
Oh, it's the honor's mine, man. This is why we do this, right? And this is what I wanted to do, is to celebrate community and put faces and personalities to the real truth warriors behind the scenes. We don't always get to see this side of us. So to hang out for folks to see across our echo chambers and get to meet each other and hang out. This is where we build a bigger, stronger community. I love it, man.
So yeah, people can definitely find me then, like on Instagram and Twitter at the name that you guys see right here, Impenetrable. And then on Facebook, you can find me at the Brand Impepetrebel. And you can definitely get like all your clothing that you want from me and feel impenetrable your own way and portray it your own way. And I'll be happy about it. That's how I'm looking at it. Right. So you can get snapbacks. I got t-shirts. I got like sweatsuits. I'm coming in soon with like a lot of like the kids' clothing as well, because a lot of my family is getting mad that I haven't come with it yet. So I have to for my nieces and nephews. I have like over 15 nieces and nephews that want clothing right now. So
well, I'm coming to Toronto for a t-shirt soon.
Also my son, because he's just like, Dad, the clothing is looking so great now. It's loving it. Let's go. So.
Right on. Well, we'll see you soon. I'm coming to Toronto for a t-shirt one of these days soon, bro.
Oh, that one's definitely going to be on the house then, Wayne. Like, trust me, you're good, bro. You're good.
It's awesome, bro. All right. Well, you have a good night, man. And we'll see you on Sunday at our next meeting. And just keep fighting the good fight, bro.
And what's up, Canada? Y'all know who it is. It's Impenetrable. Check it out and make sure you follow Wayne. All right. Take care.
Hey guys, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that, getting a little bit of a different take with some of the people that we call friends and family behind the scenes that you guys don't necessarily get to see every day. And it's a great privilege and honor for me to share some of these folks with you, because we're doing the same thing, right? We're all going the same direction, and this is how we get there, by helping each other in our community. So on that note, folks, stay Canadian, keep fighting, stay strong, and we will make Canada Canada again. Have a great night. God bless. See you soon.